Area of a triangle. So this is the formula that we use to find the area of a triangle when we have a non-right angle triangle, or we have a triangle that we don't know the perpendicular height of. So if we have a right angle triangle, or a triangle that we know the perpendicular height of, we can just use the formula half times base times height. But when we don't have that information, we're going to use this formula, which is half AB sine C. So what we do is we take the triangle in question, and there will be an angle labelled, and we will label it as angle C. So it could be 40 degrees, it could be 70 degrees, it doesn't matter what it is, but we label it as angle C. Now the side that is directly opposite the angle that's labelled, we label that as side C. So usually we label the angles as uppercase letters, so capital C, and we label the sides as lowercase letters. So we have the side that's looking across at the angle that we've labelled as angle C as side C. Then we label the other two sides as A and B. It doesn't matter which is the A and which is the B. And then we just substitute into our formula. So this formula is also given on page 16 of the formula tables, so you don't have to learn it off by heart. Now it's very important to note that to use this formula, we need to know the lengths of the two sides of the triangle and the angle between these two sides. So we need to know the angle and the lengths of the two sides that are either side of the angle. So here's our example. Find the area of the given triangle. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So we have an angle of 55 degrees and the side lengths are 6 and 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to label our triangle. So we're going to start off by labeling our angle as angle C. And then we're going to label the side directly opposite that as side C. So we have lowercase c for the side. And then we're going to label our other two sides as A and B. So I'm labeling the 6 as A and the 8 as B, but it doesn't really matter which way we label them. Okay, so now we're going to substitute into our formula. So our formula is half times AB times sine C. So we swap the A for 6 with brackets around it. We swap the B for 8 with brackets around it. And then we're going to have times sine of C, which is going to be sine of 55 degrees. Putting it all into the calculator, making sure you use brackets, we'll end up with 19.6596. And we're going to round it off to 2 decimal places. So we get 19.66 square units. So remember, to use this formula, you have to have two sides, two lengths, and the angle in between the two sides. So we had this side, which was 6, and this side, which was 8, and we had the angle in between. If you do not have those 3 pieces of information, then you're going to have to use either the sine rule or the cosine rule to find them. So we're going to look at the sine rule and the cosine rule in a few videos, but it's important to note that when you're using this formula, you have to have the angle and the two sides either side of the angle. So you have to have the angle in between the two sides. Otherwise, you use the sine rule or the cosine rule to find whatever piece of information you're missing, whether it's an angle or a side. Find the measure of angle A, and give your answer correct to the nearest degree. So we're told that the area of this triangle is 25 centimeters squared. We have a side length of 10 and a side length of 12, and we're trying to find the angle. So we're going to use our area formula, which is half AB sine C, and we're going to substitute into that formula the information that we have and solve for A. We're going to find the angle. So I'm going to start off by labeling my triangle. So the angle is going to be a capital C. The side opposite the angle is going to be lowercase c, that's side C. And I'm going to label the 12 as A and the 10 as B. Now it doesn't matter which I label as A and which I label as B, so long as the angle is labelled as C and the side opposite that is labelled as lowercase c. So then the other two sides can be A and B, doesn't matter which way they are. So then we just substitute our information into our formula and we're going to solve for angle A. Okay, so we start by writing out our formula. Half times AB times sine C is equal to the area. We swap the A for 12 with brackets around it. We swap the B for 10 with brackets around it. Sine C now just becomes sine A. And the area we swap for 25 because we were told the area was 25 centimeters squared. Okay, so now we're going to simplify. A half times 12 is 6, and 6 times 10 is 60. So we have 60 times sine A is equal to 25. We want to get the sine A on its own, so we're going to divide both sides by 60. So we're going to say 25 divided by 60. And that will simplify to give us 5 over 12. So sine A is equal to 5 over 12. So since we don't know what the angle is, we have to use the inverse function of sine. So to use the inverse on our calculator, which is sine to the power of minus 1, we press shift or second function, depending on what calculator you're using, and then press the sine function. So sine minus 1 should come up in your calculator, and an open bracket. You put in the fraction key, and 5 over 12, close the bracket, make sure you close the bracket, and press equals, and then round your answer off to the nearest degree. So we get angle A is equal to 25 degrees to the nearest degree.